What's up, guys? Back for another question. Actually, question number 9 of the 30-day question challenge. And today is a ridiculous question. But before we get to that, I just wanted to mention thank you guys for all the support recently with the business, the podcast, this crazy little 30-day question challenge. It's been a lot of fun. All of it, all three of those things have been a lot of fun. And if this is your first time discovering any of this, check out our business, Engine House Designs, at enginehousedesigns.com. Throw that link up there for you. You can also check out the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We stream to X, YouTube, and Facebook. You can check that out with that link. It is the Engine House or Engine House podcast on. You can search the Engine House on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And then I think it's Engine House Pod on X. But sharing stuff about the business, sharing stuff about the podcast, it all is the easiest way to support both of those things without spending a dime. And every time that you like or comment or share any of our stuff that pops up, it really does help just kind of boost, the exposure, and it gets us out there farther. So y'all been doing a great job so far. You've been getting involved with everything, and I really appreciate it. I can't say that enough. But anyways, diving into day number 9, question number 9. Like I said, today's is a little bit ridiculous, but we're going to try and have fun with it. So the question for today is, if you drop the soap, which is controversial on its own, does the soap get dirty or does the floor get clean? And I'm going to try and have fun with this. I'm going to try and make this last about 10-15 minutes. So I'm going to get scientific. I'm going to get a little philosophical, and we'll see what we can do. So if you're watching this, you can, join the discussion in the chat. If you catch it after the stream is over, you can still join the discussion by commenting what you think down below. And like I said, as always, share this stuff, like it. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. And yeah, let's dive in. So if you drop the soap, not something we want to do, not a habit we want to make, right? Especially if we're in certain circumstances. This has been it's kind of like the other golden rule, right? Don't drop the soap. That's why they make those scrunchy things that girls use. Does the soap get dirty or does the floor get clean? Well, from a scientific standpoint, I think that all things in God's creation, yes, I gave God credit for this beautiful world. So if you don't like that, you can keep scrolling or find something else to watch. I don't care. Everything in God's creation, everything in the world, in the universe, it all tries to maintain homeostasis, right? So if there's more oxygen in my lungs than in my bloodstream, then the oxygen tries to move to my bloodstream. If there's more carbon dioxide in my blood than in my lungs, then it tries to move from my blood vessels to my lungs so I can breathe it out. And that's one example of how we maintain homeostasis in our body. And the same is true about everything in the world. If it's warmer outside than it is in your house, then that warm air is going to want to come in to the house and the cool air is going to want to go out, because everything is trying to produce balance, that homeostasis. So how this pertains to the question, in my opinion, is that if you were to drop the soap, you did the number one thing you're not supposed to do, you drop the soap. If you do that, I think, in my opinion, that both things would happen. I think the soap would get dirtier, and I think the floor would get cleaner to some extent because the soap is cleaner than the floor, and the floor is dirtier than the soap. And so, therefore, they're going to transfer a little bit of each to each other, right? The soap would still be cleaner than the floor, and the floor would still be dirtier than the soap, but the soap is now dirtier than it was, and the floor is cleaner than it was, right? I hope that makes sense. Um, so from that approach, let me know what you think. Do you think that the soap gets any dirtier? Does it stay clean? Does the floor stay dirty, or does it get cleaner? Now, from a more philosophical perspective or approach, um, really, really reaching for this question. So you guys are welcome. But I think if you try to take a philosophical view on this, I think it has to do with perspective. Listen, man, I'm getting all into it. It has to do with your perspective. Everything in life has to do with your perspective. But really, if you think about it, everything does have to do with your perspective. So if you have a brand new bar soap and you drop it on a dirty floor, I think it's about how you approach everything in life. If you tend to be a more negative person, then to you, that bar of soap just got dirty and it's ruined. It's not perfect like you when you just took it out of the package, right? Um, but if you tend to be more optimistic, a more positive person, then you may pick up the bar of soap like nothing ever happened, and you may even say, "Yeah, floor's a little cleaner now." Um, but I mean, that really is true about everything in life. It's about how you choose to perceive it and accept it, and how you look at things, right? So there's always a good side to every bad, and there's always bad to every good, and it just depends on how that person sees it. So I will choose to believe that the floor is just a little cleaner, but that's just who I am. There are days when I would say I gotta go buy a new bar soap because this thing's ruined. But that's part of life too. We all have days where we struggle and whatnot, and I'm seriously talking about whether or not a bar of soap got dirty on a live stream, and that's absolutely absurd to me. But nonetheless, you may be wondering if you made it this far, why I'm even doing this. And the point of this 30-day question challenge is not so I can get on here and answer silly questions or talk about whether or not soap gets dirty by dropping it on the floor or whether the floor gets clean by getting soap dropped on it. It's actually to improve my skills as a host, as a creator, and to have fun and interact with y'all. So that's why I do this. That's why I'm doing this 30-day question challenge. So help me out. If you have a question that you want me to answer in future streams, I already have my question picked out for tomorrow, so you can't book tomorrow. Somebody already did. But if you have a question that you'd like me to answer in future streams for this 30-day question challenge, feel free to hop in the chat if you're watching this right now, or if you catch it after the stream, you can drop your question down in the comments. If you'd like to be anonymous and you don't want anyone to know that you're the one that asked the question, then that is fine. You can DM me and I will still answer the question. I just won't, I won't mention any names or anything like that. This is, like I said, this is just for fun. And the question can be about anything. It could be about business. It could be personal. It could be about my work life. I'm a fireman, if that helps. It could be about the podcast. It could literally be about anything, like whether or not soap gets dirty if you drop it on the floor. So just for fun, just for practice. If you catch this after the stream, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I guess that's it. We answered that question. The soap gets a little dirtier and the floor gets a little cleaner, in my opinion. It's all about your perspective. So maintain positive perspective. Have a good rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow for day number 10, question number 10 of the 30-day question challenge. My name's Cody Hill, signing out.